I just finished reading all the comments for the last video, and I now have a list of ideas and subjects for, well, I haven't counted, but there seems to be about like 20 or so. So I'll be good for a while. Thank you for all the suggestions, and feel free to continue, just dropping it in the comments whenever there's something you would like to know more about or you would like me to talk about. So logically, now that I have a list, I would have picked the most interesting thing to talk about and start with that, right? Wrong. Instead of using one of those items, I decided to go to the complete other direction and make a video about the most boring subject possible. Meds. But before we get into that, I just wanted to acknowledge a few things. First of all, this is a very weird way to wear a hat. This is a much more normal and more comfortable way of wearing a hat. Not that it matters. Also, this is an orange. This is also an orange. But this is a lemon. And on that note, let's get into the video. I felt like they kind of ran in this morning, in case you couldn't tell. So I've, did this in the past. I thought I would redo it simply because there's been a lot of changes in the medications that I'm currently taking, as opposed to the ones I was taking last time I made a video like this. So I just wanted to take the time to kind of go over all the different meds I'm taking, the different categories also of meds, and, brief overview of what they do, side effects, and stuff like that. So, first one is the one that I take that's given to me by the hospital that is intended to boost the effects of the new immunotherapy treatment we began. So I take this twice per day, once in the morning, once at night. There's a bunch of potential side effects. So far, I don't seem to have experienced any. There's a friend of mine who was on this same treatment for a couple of years. And she's like, oh, it gave me like really intense stomach aches. And I'm like, ooh, like I already have enough issues with my stomach and eating and diet and everything. Like I don't need anything else. And luckily so far, it's been about like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks since my last treatment, since I started taking these. And so far I haven't noticed anything. So maybe I got lucky and there will be no side effects for this. So we'll see, fingers crossed. The second one is this one. I've been taking it for good 9, maybe almost 10 months at this point. This is the medication they prescribed to me after I had that seizure on the subway train. And it's basically to keep that from happening again. So I can take it also twice per day, once in the morning, once at night. The reason why I'm not mentioning the names is just because there's so many different meds that I've taken over the last year and a half, all with complicated names like levetiracetam. Like, I'm not going to try to pronounce them. I don't try to memorize them. It's like, I just need to know, okay, when do I need to take them and what are the potential side effects? So yeah, this one, haven't experienced any side effects since I've been taking it. It's a low dose and I've been taking it for a while now, so haven't really noticed anything specific about that. Sorry. A little phlegm stuck in my throat. That's the thing, in the mornings I always seem to cough less and have less trouble breathing. It's just because of the night, you just breathe and you don't necessarily like cough or, expulse whatever you need to expulse from your system. So sometimes in the morning, especially when I tend to talk, it just kind of like triggers that, oh, there's something in my throat, let's get it out. And it just triggers the coughing. So next one is this. This is a pill to reduce the inflammation in my body, just general inflammation. Haven't really noticed any side effects when it comes to this one. Maybe there are. It's just the thing is, like, I'm taking so many different ones, and a lot of them I started recently or around the same time. So it's hard to know exactly which ones might be causing side effects. But from what I was told, I don't think I'm experiencing any of the side effects from this. And once again, this is one I take twice per day. Next one is another new one. Well, that one's not that new. The last one was about like a couple months ago. This is, last week. Been taking it for a week and a half, something like that. This one is to help with, not really with appetite, it just helps me digest faster and allow food to travel through my system unobstructed, which in turn helps for the appetite because then the food doesn't get stuck in my stomach for too long. And then I am able to have that sensation of not necessarily hunger, but at least that sensation of, oh, okay, I can sense that my body can handle some food right now. So this is what it does. I take it 3 times per day, so half an hour before every main meal. So, it varies from day to day. I don't have a specific structured schedule where I wake up at this time. But I usually take it like whenever I wake up, and I keep it next to my bed at night. So whenever I wake up, just pop one. That way, by the time I get up, brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, get breakfast ready and everything, by the time I start eating, it's been around half an hour. Then I take it around 11:30. That way, when I eat lunch, whether it's 12 or a little later, then I'm ready. And even though I don't usually eat later than that, I take the final one around 4:30 because normally I would eat my final meal around 5. And it's important to take it 3 times per day, even if you don't eat 3 full meals. It's kind of like to keep your system working properly and make sure that everything's going well. So it's important to take it regularly. Next one is, let's see, which one is this? I need to remember because that's also another new one. This one is, oh yeah, okay. That's the one that's going to help for my breathing. So as I explained last time when I first started taking it, it doesn't it doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't allow me to breathe better. It just tricks my body into not feeling as much the reaction of doing physical exercise. Just like if I go for a walk, this is in theory going to help me feel less tired and experience less of that, breathlessness, that exhaustion, which kind of like stretches my range and allows me to be able to start doing things like walking again and lifting weights again and slowly, starting to get back to a place where I don't feel super weak every single time I do anything physical. So haven't really noticed much of a difference on this front. Maybe it takes a while to act. I don't really know. Once again, take this twice per day. And finally, of the medications that I take regularly, this one is the THC. So pure THC, very good. I can use this because the gummies were just like, I took them 3 times, different intent or different quantities, just because it was too intense for my body. And it's just like, I do not enjoy this. I really hate it. It's like, I'll do it if I need to do it, if it's what I need to do to be able to eat more, but this is just so much easier. So I've taken it very slowly, as the doctor explained to me. So they're, let's see, 10 milligram capsules. So what I did is when I started, I took half a capsule every night for a week. And then now it's the second week. So I'm taking half a capsule at night, half a capsule in the morning. And then the next week is going to be one full one in at night, one half in the morning, and then the week after that. So on the 4th week is going to be one at night, one in the morning. That way it gives time for my body to get used to it, and I don't experience that sensation of being high. It's like, I don't know why my body just does not react well to weed. And this sensation of being high, it's just, I hate it so much. So far, by slowly building up, I haven't really experienced any of those, feeling high side effects. Only the first time I took it, the first night when I went to bed, I did feel like a little warmth in my body, but that was really it. After that, haven't felt anything since. So hopefully this helps with the hunger. Once again, it's one of those things where it's like I'm taking so many different medications, a lot of which are for similar purposes, so it's hard to know exactly what is helping, what's not helping. Plus, I also, recently, a couple weeks ago, switched to a more liquid diet. So that also, affects things. So it's hard to know exactly what's working and what's not working, but it definitely seems better than it used to be. So that's pretty much the meds I take every single day regularly on a schedule. And there's a few that I take every once in a while when needed. First one is sleeping pills. I've tried them 3 times. First time I tried it, for some reason, made things even worse. Literally woke up every single hour the entire night. Second time I tried it, it actually did seem to help, but I had this really intense aftertaste in my mouth, kind of like a metallic aftertaste, which I was told, is normal. It's just not fun waking up to that taste in your mouth. And yesterday, I tried it for the third time and barely had any aftertaste. Seemed to work really well, so whenever I need it in the future, I know that they do work. I guess it just took a while for my body to get used to it, but yeah, most of the time it's like whenever I have issues sleeping, it's not just, well, okay, I need to sleep. It's like I need to sleep, but I'm having issues because let's say my leg hurts, and as an example. Well, in that case, instead of taking this one, I would take the other one, the oxycodone, which is for, intense pain whenever Tylenol, stuff like that doesn't work. And a side effect of this is it causes me to be very tired. So it's basically like a sleeping pill. So it's like whenever there's pain and that's what's keeping me from sleeping, I take this. And whenever it's just like, all right, I tried sleeping, I've been tossing and turning for a couple hours, it's not working, I need to rest, well, then I take this. But I try to avoid them as much as possible simply because I know it's the type of things that your body can get addicted to. And then once you stop using it, as an example, the sleeping pill, or if you use it too often, your body gets used to it, and then it has a hard time sleeping without that. And I'm just like, I have enough issues without having to, worry about being addicted and then having trouble sleeping once I stop taking the pills. I'm like, I'll take it when I need it and not more often than that. And then finally, there's the Ventolin. So, I know I've mentioned in a few videos from a couple weeks ago when I got the test at the end of last year, the lung test, lung capacity, things like that, they tested with Ventolin, and it did make a difference. So the person who administered the test is like, hey, I would recommend that they, prescribe a longer lasting form of this. That way you can take one in the morning, one at night, and it will keep your bronchi coated in that, special products that dilates and allows you to breathe better. And it'll always be like that. That way it'll help you breathe consistently. And you don't have to kind of like have those ups and downs. Because that's the thing. This is effective when you take it, but it lasts a couple hours. So it's like, it's not ideal. Plus I'm limited. I can only take 8 puffs per day. And usually you take like 2 at once. It's like 1, 2. So it's like, okay, I have 4 of those that I can use in the day. So, I'm limited in the quantity. Plus, when I went to speak to my rehab doctor a couple weeks ago, and he prescribed all this new medication, he's like, avoid taking Ventolin as much as you can, because one of the side effects, or one of the, what this does basically, it's like, yeah, it opens up your airways, but it also increases your heart rate. And given, how out of shape I am and the trouble breathing and everything, my heart rate is just much more elevated than it used to be. And if I take this, it kind of like makes that worse. So it's like, yes, on the one hand, it does help. It makes me breathe better. But on the other hand, it's kind of like working against me by raising my heart rate. So it's like, it's hard to figure out when it's like if it's good or bad. So it's like I try to avoid it as much as I can, but there's always times where sometimes I need it. It's like, especially at night. I'd say on average, I take it maybe like once per night. Sometimes it's a little worse. I take it two, some very rare times, 3 times. Other times things are good and I don't take it at all. But I would say the average is about once per night. So it's like I'm trying to balance it as best as I can. It's just, part of the process. And then finally, the non-meds is this is basically just oil in a tiny like squirty thing, and like I put it in my nose every night before I go to bed, simply because during the winter when I'm heating, it makes the air much drier. And even though, yes, I do have humidifiers, it still kind of makes it difficult for me to breathe at night because I'm just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose the entire night. And it just ends up drying out my nasal passageway. So I use this to kind of lubrify that, and it helps a bit on that front. But it's basically just oil that you squirt in your nose. So not really a med, it's just something that I take because it helps. And then finally, just, Hall's cough lozenges. Whenever I have trouble breathing, especially this kind, like peppermint or something like that, it just kind of like opens up the airways temporarily. So if ever I have trouble breathing and I don't want to use the Ventolin, then I'm going to take one of these instead to kind of open it up. I avoid taking them at night for a couple of reasons. First of all, like, yes, there's a little sugar in them, so it's not ideal if you take them after brushing your teeth, but also because just of the nature of the type of, well, it's not really candy, but the type of thing that it is, it's just kind of like sticky. So once you're done, once it's melted, you're stuck with like this kind of like stickiness in your mouth for the rest of the night. And it's like, yeah, okay, I can drink, but it's like it doesn't fully go away. So I kind of try to avoid taking that as much as I can at night, simply just because it's not pleasant. Like I already have, issues with a dry nose at night. I don't need to have a, sticky mouth on top of that. Like I have enough issues. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. So, there's been periods where I've taken more meds, periods where I've taken less. Now is one where there seems to be more. But luckily, in terms of side effect, I've been pretty lucky. So far, all I've experienced from the new meds has been constipation. And I'm not 100% sure which one it is. I think it's this one, the one that's going to help me avoid feeling the effects of exercise. So it's going to make the breathing better. It's a corticosteroid, which, is more intense. And one of the side effects of that, just like when I was taking Decadron back in the day last year to reduce the swelling in my head, one of the main side effects of those types of medications is constipation. And that's what I've been experiencing. So I started taking a laxative to counterbalance that. Plus this medication that I'm taking to boost the effects of the immunotherapy has the side effect of potentially giving you diarrhea. So this could also help counterbalance this. It's like, oh, this is making you go more, it's making you go less. So they don't fully balance out. That's why I need to take laxative. But, it's probably helping to some degree. So, could definitely be worse. It's not like, oh, I'm super constipated, nothing comes out. Like, that period has passed. Now it's just like, well, it's more solid than it normally is. Takes a little more work to get out. But I would say we're past the stage of nothing comes out and past the stage of it's very painful when it comes out. So now it's just like, well, I'm not back to normal, but at least food can make its way through my system. So yeah, overall not so bad. Could definitely be worse. Like that is pretty much the only side effect I've experienced so far. So yeah, that has been the update on medications. And it's funny because to me it's like I'm just talking about meds, like showing like, hey, this is what it does. Like it feels like it's always gonna be a super short video. Every time I make one of them, they almost end up always being like 20 minutes or longer. I don't know why. So hopefully this wasn't too boring, and don't worry, next video should be more interesting now that I have a list of things that, people actually want to hear about, as opposed to me just sharing whatever seems appropriate to share. So yeah, next video should be more entertaining, but no promises because, I don't want to get your hopes up, because maybe I'll have another idea for a very bad video and that's what I'll end up going with. So we'll have to wait and see. So as usual, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this family. GoFundMe still hasn't been 100% resolved. It's moving in the right direction. It's just a very slow process. So for now, if you want to make donations, it's just easier to do so on YouTube directly. If you know anyone who can help me, get the story out to more people, please let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to, try some different things. And finally, I feel like there's a third thing that I normally say. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out how to end these videos, the structure to follow, but anyway, thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for all the support and encouragement you've given me. I hope that me sharing my story, videos, and everything can help you, can provide value to you. So thank you, love you all very much, and I'll see you in the next video.